Hey guys, it's Milka. Welcome back to my channel NutAeum. Today's reading is the reading that I do once a month. This is going to be your healing focus reading for the month of January. So happy almost New Year, you guys. This is going to be up about a week before the last week of December. Because I want to give you guys some time to actually process the reading. Because before I would always put it up in the last week and my upload dates were on Thursday. So sometimes it would only be like 2 days before the new month. And I'm just like, this was not planned well. So I'm doing my best, you guys. So we have 4 groups to choose from today. Before we get into the selection, I just wanted to do my little shameless self-plug in the beginning. For those of you guys who are new to my channel, I do custom crystal bracelets. This is one of them. And they're attuned with Reiki, light language, as well as attuned to your individual energy. They're meant to help create either the thing that you're trying to attract in your life, if it's like self-love, confidence, courage, all of that, or to also help you to through a transitionary period in your life, as well as to help upgrade or activate you into the next part of your life. They can also be for protection and healing and a whole bunch of other stuff, depending on what it is that you guys would like to get out of the bracelet. All of them are custom made, so even the beads are intuitively selected by me based off of what it is that you request. Also, I do private readings as well, and the ways to contact me about any of those things would be in the description box below, either through my contacts page on my website or through my email. All right, you guys, without further ado, I feel like I'm getting better at that, I always wondered, I was like, how do all of these YouTubers, do they not get like tired of repeating themselves every single time? Yeah, it's tiring. I don't know. But I feel like I've gotten a little quicker with it, so that's good. But anyway, let's get into your groups, you guys. So for group 1, we have the daffodil. For group 2, we have the aloe. Is it aloe vera? Yeah, aloe vera. I mean, I know it's the same thing, but still. For group 3, we have mint. For group 4, we have the lotus. All right, you guys, and I will have all of the timestamps in the description box below, but I'm just gonna give you a moment to choose. So take your time. Hey group 1, this is your group if you chose the daffodil. I will read the back to you guys as well. It says self-love. Oh wow, speaking of, because I just mentioned that in the custom crystal, whatever. So historically associated with the Greek myth of Narcissus, daffodil teaches us lessons of hubris. For healing to be effective and sustainable, we must love ourselves, even the unsightly, imperfect parts. This requires focused attention on ourselves, time intently spent reflecting on who we are and how we got here. This type of introspection is different than making convenient choices that are largely driven by a word I do not know. Immediacy. Wow, okay, never mind. I do know. And ego. Reflecting on our shortcomings offers us opportunities for well-being. This requires a commitment to examine what affects us, how we affect others, and how we can consciously participate in life. How do you define the difference between hubris and self-love? All right, you guys. I also just finished shuffling your cards. So let me ring the little singing bowl and I'll get right into it. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do, this reading is gonna be broken up into like 5 different parts. The first 2 parts are gonna be what are you currently experiencing, and then what you have the opportunity to leave behind in the month of December. The what are you currently experiencing can also act as like an energy check to see if this is your reading or not. If not, you can try another group as well. And then in the second section, we're going to be doing part 3 and 4, which will be what is your material world focus in the month of January, and what does Divine want you to focus on healing in the month of January? And then for the last part, we'll be just doing advice / final messages. So let's get started with the energy check. We have the 2 of Cups, the 4 of Pentacles, the Chariot, Death, the Emperor, and the Page of Pentacles. We also have the 5 of Cups, the Chariot again, interesting, the Tower, the 3 of Cups, and the Queen of Swords. So give me a moment, and then we'll put your cards to the side here. Let's see. What are you guys currently experiencing? I feel like some of you guys are in the process of moving, like actually moving house or moving locations, or you're going to be taking a trip, but it doesn't feel like a 3-day trip. It feels more like a couple of weeks. It could be just a week, but I feel like you guys are going to be traveling. And I feel like that's what you guys are in the process of doing. Like I'm seeing getting ready to start packing. And yeah, I feel like you guys are, yeah, you guys are ready to start moving into a new direction. It feels like, honestly, the energy here is like, I've been working on balancing my life. I'm done with this current situation. Like, I'm just done. It feels like you guys are like, I'm no longer tolerating this anymore. You know, so if, for example, you were living with family or something, and you just got so, like, there was something that happened that was like the final straw, and you guys are like, yeah, no, I'm done. That's it. Sayonara, goodbye. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't want to give any more energy to this. And it doesn't even feel like you guys are having like a temper tantrum or you're reacting angry. It's almost like I don't give up, but I'm just tired of giving you a reaction, so I'm done with this. So I feel like that's you guys moving either house, or you're just going on a trip to get away from that situation, to come up with ideas, or it could genuinely be moving away from people in your life. But I'm definitely seeing movement and like leaving something behind. So I feel like for quite a few of you guys, you could be moving. Maybe even if you are like students, you could be studying abroad or studying in a different place than where you're from. So you're gonna have to be dorming. But yeah, so that's what the current energy check feels like. So if this sounds like what you're currently experiencing or feeling, then this is your reading, and let's get into what you have the opportunity to leave behind in December. So I feel like the thing that you guys have the opportunity to leave behind in December, it's funny because you have the Chariot twice, so this really is talking about like that motion. So I feel like you guys are not going to be leaving necessarily, for most of you, in December. It probably will be happening in January. like to mid-January, it feels like. And I just feel like you guys are going to be leaving behind whatever the situation was that was causing so much drama, or like energy drainage. That's what it really feels like energy drainage. You're just like, yeah, okay, I'm done. I'm not entertaining this anymore. Like, yeah, I choose me, you know? So I feel like you guys are doing that. Like you are leaving behind whatever this dynamic is. For some of you guys, I genuinely feel like it's family. And like you guys are just like, yeah, I'm done. I can't live with them anymore. Like I just can't handle it anymore. That's it. And then with the Tower, again, it just feels like arguments. It feels like chaos, something that is draining your energy. So whatever it is that you're moving away from, it is the thing that you get to leave behind. You have the opportunity to leave behind in December, because I'm seeing really that for a lot of you guys, it has to do with people. It's not like you're living in a place and you have issues with bugs and you're like, yeah, no, I'm done with this place. I need to move out. It feels more like you're living with somebody and you're like, yeah, I'm done. This person is like the final straw. I just can't do it anymore. They keep doing the same thing after I ask them not to, keep repeating the same patterns. They keep gossiping and bringing me down. They can't appreciate like things, little things that can bring you joy. And so whenever I do, they bring me down. They're overly critical because, you know, that person also doesn't have self-love, right? And it's always about them and all of this. And I am not doing it anymore. I'm done. I'm completely, in every sense of the way, I'm completely done. Like I keep hearing like completely, any other way that you can emphasize how done you are. Like that's what's coming through with this. Which I think it's interesting because the story of Narcissus, actually, I know this is Daffodil, but they mentioned Narcissus, right? The story of Narcissus, it takes two, right? This flower was so, like, not flower, but this dude was so like absorbed in himself that I believe he drowned, right? He tried to look at his reflection in like a body of water and he died, or because somebody was trying to come after him, but he just kept loving himself. I think it's the story of Echo as well, right? Like Narcissus and Echo. But don't quote me on that. But yeah, basically it was about somebody who was very self-absorbed, but he was so beautiful, I think, that they turned him into a flower. I mean, he got the privilege of turning into a flower, so I think that's interesting. But yeah, so again, it's like there's this, and then it's choosing between hubris and self-love, right? So are you going to be choosing to, like, because it's cheaper to stay, you know, will you do that? Or are you going to choose you? But I see you guys choosing you because, like I said, you guys are done. But yeah, so let's get into the next part of the reading. Give me 1 second, y'all, as I clean the cards. Day you started. Oh, here it is. I was like, where did I put the cards? They're here. All right. So next we have, this will be, what are your material world focuses in the month of January? And then what does Divine want you to focus on healing in January? We have 9 of Wands. Yeah, you see, going out on your own. The Knight of Swords. Page of Cups. The 7 of Swords. The 6 of Cups. Wait, what? Oh, that was the 7 of Wands. My bad. I was like, the 7 of Swords again. How do you have 2 7 of Swords? And then for the oh, and we also have Capricorn. And the solar eclipse. And then we have 7 of Wands again. A lot of 7s. Judgment. The 9 of Wands again. Wow, you guys are getting repeats. Justice. Steady progress. I'll read it once we get to it. Perfect timing. Wow, look at that. and daydream. Okay, let me just take a sip of water, you guys. All right. So, what are your material world focuses in the month of January? Remember how I said, like, I don't feel like a lot of you guys are leaving in December, perchance, per se. I mean, and I don't necessarily, and for some of you, it is like mid-January, maybe like the second or third week of January. You're going to start being able to find options of where it is that you can go, or how you're going to be able to start leaving. Because I really feel like for a lot of you guys, it's about leaving a situation. And I feel like you guys are going to be disconnecting emotionally in December, right? And leaving it behind that way, like, I'm done with you. But physically being able to leave is going to take a little bit more time. And I feel, and I'm not saying, oh, many, many months. It feels more like January, right? This is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be planning for it. So January to March, between January and March, you guys are going to be able to actually go somewhere, I feel like. So whether for the people in school, maybe it's like a semester, you're waiting for a semester to pass, like, so maybe after February, then it's like spring semester. Is that how it works? I'm not really sure. And then there's also, for those of you who are planning on moving, it's like you're going to be able to find a place or actually move in by March, by some point March, I feel like. Okay, for most of you, because I remember I said some of you guys, I feel like it's mid-January, but it's like a range because there's a bunch of different people watching this. So I feel like your material world focus in January, again, is, wow, I kind of noticed that I say January weird. Is that how it's pronounced? January. It sounds weird coming out of my mouth now. Like I've become hyper aware of the way it sounds when I say it. But anyway, so yes, with the Nine of Wands and the Knight of Swords, again, I'm just seeing a lot of planning on your end and how you can leave as quickly as possible. With this Nine of Wands, this person stands out from the crowd. They are singling themselves out and they're being divinely guided with this bird here, right? So it's like you are, and the little fox, it looks like a fox here. So it's like you guys are being guided in regards to how you can start creating a change. Like I even see some of you guys are going to start working on saving money, though you may have a hard time doing that and you may start worrying about how am I going to make it work. But I feel like you are going to make it work. Like you're going to start, the situation isn't going to get too much better. So you guys are really going to start putting in the action that is required to get you there. I feel like in January, you're also going to be working a lot on protecting yourself energetically. And again, I just feel like you're protecting yourself from these people that you're leaving, you know, because it's just gotten too much. And now your only focus, which it is draining energetically, you know, it does take energy. But for now, the focus while you're planning and preparing to leave is protecting yourself from the fact that like these people are now coming for you because they're like, why aren't you participating? Why you think you're better than, like, I feel like they're going to be a little bit more anal, to be honest with you. It's like the universe is kicking you out, but not at the same time, because they're telling you it's time to go. You know, everything is pointing towards that. And it's almost time, and so they're like lining up everything that needs to happen for you. Yeah, even with the Seven of Swords, I see like you guys doing it on your own. It feels as though you don't really have help, you know? It feels like you guys don't really have help around you. So you have had to, even in your whole life, you've had to cope with maybe your family was distant or something, or you could have been an only child, or you could have grown up feeling like an only child, because if you were like a female sibling amongst male siblings, you know, you're the only female, and so they were all playing amongst themselves, and there were times when you felt singled out, or vice versa, the only boy amongst females. I feel like you guys used to that, like, singling out, and so this is kind of like regressing you back a little bit. But it's okay, because this is now, it's part of your healing, right? So you're showing up for yourself, you're taking care of yourself, and you and the universe are getting you out of the situation. I also feel like you guys have hidden little surprises that the universe is going to be putting into your life, materially speaking, not just money, but just in regards to like physical things, in January, kind of like to keep up your morale, you know? They're like, we want to make sure that you're still staying positive, that you don't fall into a negative spectrum because of the frustration. So here's a gift, and oh, someone has paid for your dinner, and oh, you get a free toothbrush because you're the 100th customer. Like little things like that, you know? Little things to constantly show you that you are supported. And I do see a little bit more money coming in for you guys in January too. Now, as far as what the universe would like you to focus on healing in January, I feel like they want you to focus on healing. It's just funny because you have the 7 of Wands and the 9 of Wands again, right? And this here, it's coming across, right? The 9 of Wands and the 7 of Wands is you being like a black sheep, or you standing out, like you're no longer participating, you against others, you having to defend yourself against others, right? And I feel like the universe wants you to focus on healing the feeling that you are, it's you against the world, it's you against your family, it's you against something. And when I say you, I mean like only you against a bunch of somethings, you know? So I feel like the universe is trying to get you guys to continue to heal this self-isolation that you create in your mind as if you are alone. Because you're not. Because the universe is, again, trying to show you, like, look, we're bringing people into your life that appreciate you, that value you. We're giving you these little gifts, presents to keep you happy. You're not alone, right? So this is more so of a mindset thing, of feeling like just because you're going against the grain at home doesn't mean that you really are alone. You have support elsewhere, all around you, you know? I also feel like the universe wants you to focus on healing, healing balance. I think it almost feels like they want you to appreciate taking care of yourself. Because I think sometimes for you guys, it turns into a chore and you're like, but I always take care of myself. I'm always the one to take care of myself. I want someone to take care of me for a change, you know? And again, it goes into that mindset. You single yourself out as if you're completely alone, but the universe is there taking care of you. And there are people that come into your life that try to help you, even if it's just for this one particular moment. It's like the universe showing you, like, yes, look, you have support, you have help. You're not doing it alone. But in order to move past this stage of loneliness, you have to realize that it's actually a privilege to take care of yourself. It's a privilege to do this for yourself. The moment you start doing things for you that don't feel like a chore, like I have to go pick up my pharmacy prescription. I wish I had someone who would do it for me, you know? Well, that takes away your independence. Not saying you shouldn't let people help you, you should. But I just feel like there's like two spectrums of you guys. There's the ones that are overly independent, and then there are the ones who are independent but are constantly wishing that they had somebody that they can just lean on. But the kind of lean on that you guys are feeling, it feels more aligned with you just kind of giving everything to this one person and being taken care of for a change, you know? So I feel like you guys should see the privilege and the beauty of being able to take care of yourself, at least in this moment. Just know that you guys are really operating on divine timing right now. Oh yeah, with the perfect timing here. But with judgment and justice, this is all like divine timing. Even the solar eclipse, it's like a cosmic event, right? So you guys are really operating on divine timing. And you're meant to be healing these things before you guys go into this new place that you're going into. With steady progress, we acknowledge you for the progress you've made in remembering love in your daily activities. We can clearly see the contribution you're making to the world through your thoughts, feelings, and actions of love. Then we have perfect timing. With now is the perfect moment for you to act on your inspirations. The doors are open while you walk through them with us by your side. Don't delay or procrastinate, as all of the ingredients are ripe for your success. Everything and everyone is on your side. You see? Supporting your positive outcome. And then daydream. You will more easily hear and receive our messages if you daydream regularly. Relax and open your mind to receiving without directing your thoughts. Just notice any feelings, visions, or ideas as if you were watching a movie. This is the seal of creativity. You see what I mean, you guys? Even here, they're like talking about with the steady progress and all this stuff. It's like you may get a little frustrated as you're doing this for yourself, but it's just like, it's okay. Take it one step at a time. Find the joy in doing it for yourself. Moving is exciting. So get excited, you know, and start doing these little things and counting your blessings and seeing how the universe keeps taking care of you, because it is your time. With judgment and justice and perfect timing, it's your time. You guys are so close, okay? You just have a couple of things as you're heading there, because it's not like you stop walking, you fix it, and then you keep going. Like, you guys are still heading in that direction at your steady pace. It's just they're saying along the way, we would like you to continue to work on this. And with the daydream, I feel like this is also saying, it's when you single yourself out, you guys are putting yourself in a place that's a little more coming from the hurt child / ego, and it's harder for you guys to hear the divine guidance and to see how divine is really trying to support you. So they're asking you to have moments where you just calm your mind and you reframe your mindset. You're like, actually, I realize I'm just frustrated right now. I'm not really alone because I got a free toothbrush today, and this happened today, and I found $5 on the street today. I wanted a green cup, and I got the last green cup in the store today. I'm not alone. I am taken care of. And by saying those things, you start to hear your guides even more clearly, because they're like, yes, you see us in action, you know? Now let's get into your final advice cards. We have energy. Healing energy and immense vitality flow through me easily and effortlessly. We have white buffalo calf woman, the prophetess of the sacred way. My heart is a compass. The path of love is true abundance. And then we have enlighten and ambition. Okay, so with ambition, I feel like they keep telling you to keep your eyes on the prize. And with energy, I just think it's interesting because you have energy and then you have steady progress and rest. And I feel like you guys are going to get to a point where you're going to try to do too much, like with the Seven of Swords. You say, he's carrying everything. That's a lot to carry. Divine is like, slow down, please. Like, you're going in the right direction. You don't have to try to force it. We're already creating the circumstances to get you where you need to be. So calm down, focus on your healing and your planning, and try to find the peace within the situation, with the people in your life that you're like, I need to leave, you know? Try to create a sacred dome around you where they don't impact your inner peace, okay? Yeah, I feel like that's your message, you guys. Let me get the final rice dole, the dole of, oh my gosh, dice roll, the dole of rice. Oh my God. So we have Gemini, Ceres 19, which is the sun, and 6th house, which is Virgo. So with Ceres, the sun, and Virgo, this is all giving me very much healing vibes. Gemini is also about duality, right? It is that perspective shift. Are you going to be looking at the light or the dark? Are you going to be looking at the positive or the negative? As you heal your mindset, just realize that these are parts of the steps that that you need to take in order to get to this place that you guys are going to. It's part of the process, okay? All right, group one, that was your reading. I would love to hear from you. If it resonated, please leave a comment down below to let me know. I would also appreciate if you guys gave this video a thumbs up, and if you subscribe to the channel. I've got lots of stuff planned for you guys. And if you guys are also interested in a personal reading or a custom crystal bracelet, you can feel free to reach out to me through either the contacts page on my website or through my email. But yeah, that was it for you guys. I hope you enjoyed group one. I'm sending you so much love and light, or the way they do in the Korean dramas I watch, right? It's like this weird, cute little heart finger thing. Yay! But yeah, bye guys. Hey group two, this is your group if you chose the aloe vera. I'll read what it says in the back, and I just finished shuffling your cards, so we'll get right into the reading after. But it says restore. Aloe is one of the oldest recorded plants known for its healing properties. Of its many methods to teach enlightenment, it is perfectly suited to offer lessons about restoration. This flora is designed to ensure its survival by maintaining its water supply in the most desiccated of landscapes. And like aloe vera, Barbadensis Miller? Oh, that is and like aloe vera, that's the scientific name, I guess. Being a conscious human requires work. After acute, frenetic moments or extended periods of exertion, it is vital that we employ methods to replenish our energy. Without restoration being present and available becomes impossible. What activities, terrains, or people extinguish or ignite your light? What can you do to protect and amend your supply? All right, you guys, so the way that this reading is going to work, it's going to be broken up into 5 sections, and 2 parts really. So the first part is going to be section 1 and 2, which is what are you currently experiencing, what you have the opportunity to leave behind in December. So the first part is going to be kind of like an energy check, so you can see if this is your reading or not, and you can try another one if it isn't. And then we'll be looking at what are your material world focuses for the month of January, what divine wants you to focus on healing in January, and additional messages / advice. Okay, let's get right into it. So I feel like you guys have a very soothing voice. Something about your throat chakra is coming through. Oh, as I said that, literally looking at this card, communication. And underneath it is truth. Oh my gosh, that is all throat chakra. And then we also have this blue, right, that I was looking at. I was like, oh, and another blue is underneath it. And I'm looking at this card here, which is the throat chakra card in this deck, which I think is interesting. So yeah, I feel like you guys have very soothing voices. You guys could have experienced a lot of trauma that had to do with blocking your voice. I feel like you guys had been silenced a lot, or you felt like you had to stay quiet in order to survive your environment, to be able to keep some kind of peace. And I feel like for you guys, this has impacted your throat chakra greatly, and you guys are just starting to work on discovering your voices again, but you also have very soothing voices. Regardless of how powerful or resonant your voice is, I still feel like it has a healing or a soothing effect. But yes, so we have the 6 of Swords, the 8 of Cups, the 4 of Pentacles, the King of Cups, a lot of water energy. Speaking of the water that the aloe retains, right? The 8 of Swords, the 6 of Swords. Again, group 1 had the same thing where they had something they're currently experiencing and the same card coming up and what they have the opportunity to leave behind. We have Temperance and the Chariot. Okay, give me 1 second to see what I am seeing. Yeah, I feel like you guys are in the process of experiencing or starting a healing journey, especially emotionally. Like, it's not even that you guys are just healing a mindset. I feel like you guys are healing emotionally. It feels like there are emotional scars that have been living with you guys for a while, because you could have read books on healing, you know, but I feel like what you were just doing was educating your conscious mind, but now it's time to put it into practice by applying it to your emotional body and healing those wounds. Because remember, I was sharing about this trauma that led you guys to feel like you have to silence your voice. Because you weren't speaking, you cultivated your inner world more. And I feel like it's getting very close to you, time for you guys to start healing this emotional trauma. And shortly after you start doing this, it'll be time for you guys to come out of your shell, but it's not the time yet. I feel like you guys need to be in seclusion for a little bit. Honestly, it feels like it's gonna have to be a few months. It doesn't feel like, oh, after like January, I'm gonna be able to come out of my shell and yay, butterfly period. Like, no, you guys are just starting to really build your what is it called? Your cocoon. That's it, a cocoon. Yeah, you guys are just starting to build your cocoon. I think you tried here and there, but then you allowed yourselves to get distracted with life, and you also created distractions to shift your focus from really diving super deep in regards to healing. Because you guys are deep people, but I think when it came to addressing your trauma, you would allow yourself to stay a little shallow in regards to the level of the water. So I think you guys are coming to a point where you kind of can't take it anymore. It feels like you guys are kind of done with your life. And what I mean by done with, oh, that sounded so bad. But what I mean by like, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm done. I want change. I want something new. Like, I don't want to be living like this anymore. I don't want to sabotage myself anymore. I don't want to lie anymore. You know, I want to be living my authentic truth, because this is taking a toll. It's taxing to not be authentic, you know? And I feel like you guys are just done. You're like, I'm done with this. Like, I want to move forward. And the way that you guys are going to be doing that, right, is because what you're going to be doing is what the stuff you're leaving behind in December, it kind of fades into this, where you guys are going to be, oh, and for some of you guys, I feel like you're already on the journey and you already started kind of the seclusion period because you understand your emotions. But you understanding your emotions doesn't mean that you've healed your emotional trauma, you know? You guys are extremely intelligent. And just because you understand doesn't mean that you've moved on. Okay? So I feel like that's what you guys are going to be working on. And in what you have the opportunity to leave behind, honestly, I feel like there was a little bit of a victim mentality for some of you guys, where you started blaming the people who you feel or who genuinely are the cause of you being silent, or your throat chakra being the way that it is, that made you feel like it wasn't safe to communicate or express yourself and your wants and your needs. I feel like what you guys took on instead of like doing the healing was the blame game, and you kind of put yourself into a little bit of a victim mentality. And I feel like you also you're going to be given the opportunity to leave that behind, to really leave behind the victim mentality, to really, and for some of you, again, I get like this is kind of split in two. There's some people who are just starting the journey and some people who are a little bit on the journey. For those of you who are a little bit on the journey, you guys already started leaving behind the victim mindset. For those of you who are just starting, I feel like the victim mindset is going to be one of those first things that is, it's got to go, you guys, because this is keeping you from embracing your power. right? It's holding you back from taking control of your life or feeling like you have control in your life because you put the responsibility on others. I'm not saying that this is justifying what they did and that it's your fault that all of this happened. Not at all. I'm just saying that now that the situation has changed, you're in a different place, holding on to that as if this is the reason all your life is this way. It's not going to serve you. It's just going to keep you stuck in the place that you are, you know? So I feel like you guys are getting the opportunity to move past that and start healing that, and to stop doing this blame game, right? You guys, because look at all this transition, the Chariot, the Six of Swords, like you guys are leaving that thing. I also feel like you guys are going to start coming to your own rescue, you know, which I think is also in part like what happens when you leave behind the victim mentality. And for those of you who are already a little bit on the journey, I feel like the thing that you guys are going to have the opportunity to leave behind is, honestly, this is going to bleed through into January, because like I said, this is not a one-time kind of a thing. Like in a month, I'll be able to fix this. You guys experienced a lot. And 1 month is not going to heal years of emotional abuse and conditioning, right? So I feel like the ones who have already started the journey, you guys are going to be leaving or working on leaving behind this feeling of not being able to speak in the moment. Like if someone is talking down to you or someone is saying something bad, it almost feels like before you wouldn't be able to come up with a response, you know, like you would only come up with what you should have said or could have said afterwards, after you're not even in the situation or even around the person anymore. And I feel like you guys are going to be working on that, where you're going to be able to actually speak immediately. Like you're going to be leaving behind this thing where like that inner child in you doesn't know how to react because you're so used to being silenced, so you can't even respond right away. So that's going to be something that you guys are working through as well. Now let's get into the next section of your reading. Oh, sorry guys, I'm just going to take a sip of water before we do that. We have the Knight of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, Four of Cups, the Queen of Swords, the Sun, and the Sixth House. You also have the King of Pentacles, interesting. The Four of Pentacles. Wow, you guys are getting similar energies here as well. That happened to group 1 as well. Like they had similar cards up here and there too. That's interesting. Five of Pentacles. A lot of Pentacles in your January reading. And the oh my. The Keeper of Coins. Who is, y'all, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to actually look this up because I don't remember. I forgot that the suits, I was like, yeah, let me use this deck. And I completely forgot that the suits in this deck are different. So give me 1 second. Let me just check what it be. Ah, okay. So that I was thinking, this was the Queen of Pentacles, but okay, King, Queen, and then Apprentice and Champion. Okay, cool. Cool beans. Okay, so you have the King and the Queen of Pentacles, and then we also have Entrepreneur. I'll read it later. That's not what it says. That's me telling you that I will read it later. The Ocean, interesting. All this water, blue and water, and Daydream. Okay. You guys have a lot of water energy. I think because it's time to have that emotional healing. So the top is going to be what are your material world focuses in the month of January, and the bottom is what divine would like you to focus on healing in January. So it's interesting that your material world focus is it's a bit more balanced, right? It's stability and emotions and your mind. So January, I feel like the material world focus is prioritizing the healing. I feel like you guys, again, it just seems like you guys have a little bit of a journey. I'm not saying it's going to take you 10 years, but it's not going to be like 1 month. It's probably going to be longer than 3 months too, This is me just being realistic and being real with you guys and being honest. Like, you guys went through a lot. You've got to be gentle with yourself and kind and compassionate, and just, I feel like you guys are going to get it too. Like, I'm saying this, but I don't even have to, because I feel like you guys will be like, yeah, we get it, Milka, we know. This is what happens. Like, it takes years to get this way, so it's going to take a little bit of time to rewrite that. But yeah, so that is what I feel like the material focus is for you guys. I feel like you guys are going to be feeling nostalgic, but there's also going to be like a little bit of a coldness to you, and that's okay. It's just because you guys are putting the focus back on you. You're putting the focus back on you, and I think people in your life are going to see you as being a little bit more critical. My throat is really acting up during your reading, you guys. But you guys are going to be working on voicing your opinion, because I feel like there are going to be some things that you're just not satisfied with. Remember that thing I was mentioning where it's like being able to speak in the moment, right? If somebody is saying something to you and you want to defend yourself in the moment, but you can't come up with anything until afterwards, I feel like you guys are going to experience that a couple of times. And then you're going to get frustrated and upset, and you're going to write a letter. And I think that you guys are actually going to get to a point, possibly for the majority of you in January, where there may be something that comes up and you actually try to respond in the moment. Will it be a great success? Maybe for some of you, yeah. For others of you, the success in it is that you are speaking, okay? You are trying. And practice is the thing that helps you to be able to do it more immediately. And that's what you guys are going to be doing, I feel like, is starting to be like, no, I deserve to be treated better. I feel like you guys are going to be healing that. And then what divine would like you to focus on healing. Honestly, I feel like with all of these pentacles, divine wants you to focus on healing your security and your money. It feels like you guys are stuck in a situation with people that are hurting you on some level, because you do not have enough stability to be able to take yourself out of it. So I feel like divine is trying to encourage you to continue to take care of yourself, to create a budget plan, and to use your money wisely. Rarely do I interpret this as like, because it's interesting, right? Your material world focus is the healing, and then your healing focus is the material world. So divine wants you to trying to do both, you know what I mean? Like, you guys are really big on like your voice, but another big thing for you to focus on is your material world. That is one of the biggest ways that you can help get yourself out of this situation, is to be able to show yourself, I have security because I create my security. So I feel like getting better with money is going to be really helpful for you guys. Otherwise, you're just kind of a little stuck in this perpetuated cycle. You know what I mean? So yeah, stability, okay? You become your mother and your father. You are providing that security, that sense of security for yourself. And ideally, you would also be saving a little bit of money, right? Because spending too much it's not serving you at the moment. I think it's just easier to project onto other things than to focus on your inner world. So now they're saying continue to focus on your inner world, be your mother and father, and take care of yourself. You deserve to not feel like you have a lack of money, you know? With entrepreneur, it says self-employment suits your disposition and intentions. Working for yourself allows you to better follow your intuition and divine guidance. We are your co-workers and teammates who remain loyally by your side to ensure your success in all ways. The ocean. The deep blue sea speaks to your soul, healing and soothing you. Even the act of imagining yourself dipping into its healing womb brings about desirable effects. Better yet, spend time physically near the ocean. Allow its power and beauty to wash away all cares and concerns. Daydream. You will more easily hear and receive our messages if you daydream regularly. Relax and open your mind to receiving without directing your thoughts. Just notice any feelings, visions, or ideas as if you were watching a movie. This is the seat of creativity. Okay. So with entrepreneur, again, I feel like divine is trying to get you guys to fix your money situation. And if you're having a hard time, you know, it kind of feels like be creative, you know? So for some of you guys, maybe it genuinely is start thinking about self-employment. Can you sell something? Can you create something? Are you artistic and you want to have a business in the thing that you love? Well, what's stopping you? You know, is it this expression thing? This fear of expression, so it also turns into a fear of putting yourself out there. So I feel like there's a couple of questions that you guys need to answer for yourselves about what's really holding you back in life and what's causing you to spend all of this money. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie to you, the money thing feels like a little bit of a call out to me too, because your girl has been, I don't know what it is about holiday season, but was spending money. And with the ocean, again, I feel like this is again talking about that emotional healing and calming your mind, and just honestly, there needs to be a lot of relaxation for you guys. Even with the aloe, that's what I was talking about, right? Like that peace, the relaxation, rejuvenation. And I feel like daydreaming, allowing yourself, instead of being anxious and worrying about your situation and being upset with yourself, turn it into fantasizing about what it is that you want in your life. You know, allow your daydream to help be a form of manifestation in a positive light, as opposed to just perpetuating or what you're experiencing, or giving you anxiety over something that at this point, like, what's the point? You know what I mean? And then for final cards, we have strength. I have a deep inner strength and glorious vitality. Simplicity, deep, profound serenity is expanding in my life. Light, my light radiates through my life and the world around me. Essence, in my essence, I am joy. Interesting, this came out for the last group too. White buffalo calf woman, the prophetess of the sacred way. My heart is a compass, the path of love is true abundance. It's funny that this came out from the last group and I kept shuffling and I stopped, and the bottom of the deck is the same as the bottom of the deck was in the last group too, which is Mary of Nazareth, the Mother of God. I'm blessed, my courage gives birth to the divine. And then we have masculine, rebirth, and resurrect, which is interesting. You have rebirth and resurrect, and masculine. So even strength, right? There's this masculine figure here. So with masculine, when I think of masculine, it makes me think of the material world again. Stability, security, right? That's what a divine masculine energy provides. even within ourselves, right? Because we have a combination of both divine masculine and feminine energy. And the masculine energy, for at least how I see it, is that it gives that sense of security and stability and support in the material sense. Feeling safe. And I feel like right now, your guides are coming through. They're telling you to try to remain calm. And remember I was saying, like, with the daydream, instead of it turning into you being upset with yourself, into anxiety and spiraling, bring it back to the daydream where you're focusing on the things that you want. Try to keep your inner world at balance, you know? At peace is what I mean to say. And it's time to start awakening your masculine energy and healing your masculine energy, because I feel like you guys have experienced your feminine energy for too long. And because you have an imbalance, the feminine and the masculine are both unhealthy, but I feel like in order to help bring the balance and stability in your life, you guys need to focus on healing your inner masculine energy and your association to men, regardless of your gender. But I feel like, yeah, your association to like masculine energy and stuff like that, because I feel like some of you guys could possibly use the phrase toxic masculinity a lot, especially when it comes to actual like body, gender, physical, sex men. And I think that this was another form of not taking ownership of your part in your life, like how you play a role in your life. Remember I was saying in the beginning, for some of you guys, it feels like there's that victim mindset. The world is like life is happening to me, right? That's what the victim mindset means. Things are happening to me, but it's like taking back your power. And I feel like you guys could have been oppressed by people with more masculine energy. It doesn't have to be a man in this case. It could be a woman with masculine energy too. And so this is a thing that you guys need to recultivate within yourself to create a healthy dynamic with your masculine energy, because this energy is what gives you drive and motivation to keep going. It gives you stability, right? It gives you motivation. It gives you financial stability, function, practical steps of how to get better, right? As opposed to trying to deal with everything just solely from your emotions. You need to be able to do both. So I feel like it's also time to focus on healing that like masculine wound. Okay? And let me just do a final rice. Why do I keep calling them rice? I keep wanting to say dice roll, but this is the second time. I did the same thing in group 1. I called it a rice dole. We have Neptune, 3, Virgo, and the moon. Interesting, because 3 is like the Empress. Neptune for me is very feminine energy. It's like wishy-washy, daydreamy, you know, all up in the head, emotions. It's not practical at all. And then we have Virgo, which to me, Virgo is feminine as well. It's the Virgin and usually is depicted by a female, right? And it's also a healing card. And then we have the moon. The moon is also considered feminine. So all of this feminine energy, and we were just talking about the masculine. So really it's about you guys coming into balance with yourselves, being able to say, you know what, I can give myself stability, but I can also allow myself to be free and feel. I feel like you guys healing a father, I feel like it could be a father wound, or again, it could be a mother that had a very masculine energy. So there's a good chance that it was a single mother or a mother that was very either possessive or extremely strict and very, very, very controlling. So I feel, so it's either that or like a father wound. Like I said, the first thing I felt more so was the father wound. So I feel like healing the father wound will help you guys to balance out this like in between energy and start creating security for you. Okay. In the description box below, and for every video, I actually leave this meditation linked for abandonment issues. I would highly recommend you guys trying it out. It's good for quite a few chakras because honestly it touches on a few different things, and I think it could be really helpful. I would recommend doing it more than once. It's under the title healing recommendation, but yeah, I would recommend doing it more than once, as I think it will be really helpful to you guys. And yeah, that was your reading, group 2. I would love to hear from you if it resonated. Have you been catching yourself in that mentality that we talked about that needs to be taken a step out of? Or are you one of the few that has already been having progress in this regard? I would love to hear from you guys. If you do try the meditation, let me know how it goes, and what you experienced during it. I would love to hear from you guys. I'd also appreciate if you gave this video a thumbs up, and if you subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate all of your support so far, and I'm so grateful to you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, group 2. Oh, by the way, also, if you're interested in a custom crystal bracelet or in a private reading, you can reach out to me either through my contacts page on my website or through my email. All right, now, bye, group 2. Bye, guys. Hey, group 3, welcome to your reading. This is your reading if you chose the mint. Before I even read the back, I just finished shuffling your cards. But something that I got when I saw the mint, I feel like you guys need to chill. I feel like some of you guys need to calm down a little bit. I think you guys have worked yourselves up over something that is not something you should be worrying about at this moment, you know, like kind of like a release the outcome type of a situation. So we have footing. Loved and loathed by many, Mantas piccata can be a bully in the garden. This Flora, oh, I forgot about that, right? Because mint is like a weed almost. It grows like a weed. This Flora is strong in both scent and footing. Its tenacity is admirable. Like mint's underground rhizomes, many of our emotions are buried. They can be mistakenly easy to hide. However, when left unattended, they can be overbearing. We often employ barriers to keep things in check and to maintain a facade of safety. Initially, this approach can be beneficial, but often leads to hardships. Acknowledging and experiencing our emotions can be beneficial and affords us solid footing. When presented with strong emotions, do you find them uncomfortable? What do you do with them? Expose them or hide them? Let me ring the singing bowl for you guys. Okay, you guys, so I already had the cards shuffled, and I think this is interesting, right? Because I was saying like the calm down. I feel like some of you could be a little aggressive or passive aggressive at times because things kind of get worked up and then simmer down, and then when you try to calm yourself down, what you're doing is repressing and not really genuinely letting go. So there needs to be a little bit of like a calm down, simmer, you know? And so before we begin, I want to do a little bit of a breakdown to let you know how the reading is going to work. It's going to be in 2 parts with 5 sections. So the first and second section will be, what are you currently experiencing and what will you be having the opportunity to leave behind in December? The first section will actually be really good as an energy check for you guys to see if this is what you're currently experiencing, if this is your reading, and if it's not, you can try another pile, okay? And then the third and fourth section will be what are your material world focuses in January, and then what divine wants you to focus on healing in January. And then for the fifth section, it'll just be looking at advice and additional messages, okay? So we have the 7 of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, the Strength card, the Knight of Cups, the Three of Cups, the Page of Swords, the Empress, the Queen of Wands, Queen of Wands, the Page of Cups, and the Four of Wands. Okay, give me a moment, you guys, just to see what I am seeing. Okay. I feel like you guys have been, it feels like you're trying to cultivate your inner world and your life, and you're trying to have balance in your life. I think when you work yourself up too much, or you put in too much energy or effort, that's when you guys are going to start getting those little aggressive or passive aggressive tendencies. I also feel as though like you guys are trying to, again, like I'm saying, it feels like you're trying to find balance, like you're trying to make things grow. It also feels as though some of you have are losing a little bit of patience when it comes to something in particular. But I feel like you guys are trying to create a social life. You're trying to create a personal life. You're trying to put an energy in some kind of thing that you want in your life, you know? And as you're waiting for the seeds to grow, it's like you go out and you do this social life thing and you do this life thing. So instead of you genuinely having fun each time, it feels like you have turned it into a little bit of a routine or a chore. So that's kind of how it feels. Like you're like, oh, I haven't had anything. Like, even if you're really tired, you know, it's like 2 weeks in, you're like, okay, I rested last week. This week I'm supposed to have my social life day. So if I don't do it this week, then I'm not going to have a chance to do next week. So then it will be a whole month without a social life day. So I have to do it this, you know what I mean? Like it feels very like planned out. It doesn't feel like, oh, I want to be social today. Like it just feels like I have a schedule and I'm following my schedule. You've created a routine to try to help bring balance into your life, but you've become a little monotone in the routine because, again, like it just feels like you've been waiting for some kind of a result. And it's starting to get a little like, okay, it's not that you've become completely impatient or you can't wait for it anymore. I just feel like the excitement is like dwindling down a little bit and you're just like, okay, I'm still waiting. Okay, I'm still waiting. Okay, another week. Okay, I guess I'm still waiting. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're like, I can't believe I'm still waiting. It almost feels like you've surrendered to that, or you've accepted the fact that you still have to wait. But there's a little energy of like this routine falling into habitual behavior patterns, and it's just not exciting, you know? It feels a little dull. You guys need a little bit more spark, a little bit more liveliness. And then what you have the opportunity to leave behind in December. Oh my goodness, what the heck? That happened in one of the other readings, like a couple of readings ago or something. I was singing Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes. I never think of this song. Why is this song coming through in the reading again? I'm wondering, because there was somebody who commented that she got Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes in another reading as well. So are you watching? Is this your group too? Can you let me know? Because I'm getting Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes again. Oh man, that's funny. It's like you guys are allowing yourselves to be completely it feels like it feels like you guys are a little overworked. Even in the time that you're planning to give yourself a break. It's too routine at this point. You're not meeting your needs in the moment. You're following a schedule to try to avoid having needs in a moment, or to try to predict needs that you will have, that you will try to meet in the moment on a scheduled time, you know? So it's like, well, it's not always like that. It's not as simple as just having a breakdown of a plan. Some days you really need rest, even though it's supposed to be a social day. So instead of doing that, like, see if you can switch it, you know what I mean? Or lose the social day and then it's okay. because you needed more rest that month anyway, apparently. You know, don't fall into the pattern of having a routine just to create balance, because you have to be balancing your actual wants and needs, not just trying to create some kind of a cycle to be able to experience all the things. Because if you're trying to experience all the things without genuinely wanting to do it, then what's the point, you know? Now, what you have the opportunity to leave in December. This one is a little trickier because it doesn't feel like something that you're leaving behind. And oh, you know why? I remembered. When I was shuffling your cards, what you have the opportunity to leave behind was not coming out. Nothing was coming out for that. And I was like, are they leaving nothing behind? Is this going to be a different thing? So I don't even think it's what you guys have the opportunity to leave behind. I think this is what you have the opportunity to step into from December, starting in December even, to start shifting your mindset. Because you guys are really intelligent, you know, and you guys have a lot of spiritual, conscious, self-help knowledge under your wings, or whatever the expression is, like under your arm, under your hand, under your whatever, under your something. And and so now that you've had this reminder, right, it's about putting in the application. So I feel like this is what this is talking about. This is you guys being like, oh, you're right, I've been doing this. And you're still going to be very self-analyzing. Like I see you guys are super self-analyzing, but I still see you doing that. But because now you started, you're better at it than you were before. You know, before I was really hypercritical. Now you can catch yourself and shift it. And so I see you guys now catching yourself and actually like realizing, oh yeah, you're right. You know, it is about the balance that I need in the moment. I'm not always going to need to rest on a Wednesday. Sometimes I need to rest on a Friday. You know, I'm not always going to want to hang out on a Friday. Sometimes I want to hang out on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? And so I feel like you guys are going to be getting back on track. And now you're going to start having joy in actually going out and creating these experiences and staying home. You're not doing it based off of a schedule. You're now doing it because you're meeting your needs in the moment. Okay, let's get into the next section of your reading. And it's funny because the healing focus, because we're going to be talking about what divine wants you to focus on healing. Again, the healing focus, with the cards weren't coming out. The cards weren't coming out. So I almost feel like you guys are really on track in your life. You just have to be patient and just have a couple of reminders every once in a while. But let's see, what are your material focuses in January? We have the moon, 6 of Wands, Page of Wands, the Queen of Swords, the Page of Swords, which is funny because that was literally the card in the bottom of the last part of the reading, right? Then we have the first house and Leo. We also have, let me move this over. Utilize the space. We also have the Page of Swords. Again, you guys, you keep getting the Page of Swords. Oh my goodness. The 10 of Swords. The 4 of Wands, which is funny. You got the Page of Swords and the 4 of Wands in the bottom section of the last part of the reading too. The 7 of Pentacles, which you guys are getting a lot of repeating cards. New partner. I'll read this once we get to this part. Let your past go. And perfect timing. Then we'll get into this after. Let me just take a sip of water, you guys. 1 second. Okay. I realize I have to take a lot of sips of water during these readings, but talking for like 2 or 3, sometimes 4 hours straight will do that to you. All right, so let's see. What are your material world focuses in the month of January? I feel like in January, you guys are doing pretty well when it comes to when it comes to your money, your business, your creativity. I feel like a lot of you guys have some kind of a creative endeavor or project, or you are entrepreneurs. And I feel like for those of you that are, like, your creative ideas, your flow in regards to your career is pretty good in January. I also feel like you guys are going to be working on addressing the emotional stuff that we were talking about before, like falling into the pattern, meeting your needs in the moment, not just following a routine. I also feel like you guys are going to be even stronger with your boundaries, your self-respect. Remember I was saying there's a little bit of passive aggressiveness, or you guys need to calm down, cool down a little bit. With this Page of Swords coming up 3 times now, I feel like this Page of Swords is like talking about that little aggressive nature, you know? It's just like you say things in the moment, like a little bit of a whip, you know? And it feels like it comes from that like passive aggressiveness, or now that you're working on yourself, it's not passive aggressiveness, it's just like a why are you challenging me kind of a thing, you know? Like that's stupid, kind of like it just, like, you don't take bullshit, so you just kind of say things as they are, but it can be considered a little offensive by some people because you're not trying to sugarcoat it or fluff it up, because you're done with that. You're like, I'm just gonna tell you what I feel and what I'm thinking, and that's it, you know? So I feel like that's why the Page of Swords keeps coming up. Then we also have, again, like, I just see you guys prioritizing yourselves in January. With Leo, the first house, it's all like self-centered, you know, so it's about you. So I see you guys taking this advice or this reminder, right? Because like I said, the healing parts, we're having a hard time coming through because you guys are already on the path. You just needed this reminder. So I feel like this is more of a reminder for you guys than anything else. And I feel like that aggressiveness, that little sizzle underneath that you've been feeling, that frustration, is coming from following a routine that was not meeting your needs, right? It was just following a schedule. So now that because your needs were not met, so you were getting aggressive and irritable because you were tired, and that was your response. So now that you're going to start meeting your needs, that irritability is still going to be there, I think, as it's coming out of you, right? You're releasing it, and then it's going to start going away in February, towards the end of February, I feel like, more like March. But it's okay. It's part of your process. It's part of the release, okay? And then what Divine would like you to focus on healing. I think it's just exactly what we talked about in the last thing. It's just advice, really. They're saying continue to be patient, continue to do the things that you're doing. Try to be a little bit more mindful with your words. You're already on this healing journey, so you know what it is that needs to be healed within you. And they're asking you to just continue doing what you're doing. Don't stop doing your meditations or your affirmations or your EFT/tapping. You know, you guys you've got a very good idea as to what it is that you've got to be doing. So just keep doing it. And then with new partner, and keep having patience, you know, like just celebrate, you know, get excited about the thing that's coming as opposed to thinking, oh, it's not here another week. Okay. And then we have with new partner, a chance meeting is no mistake. It is divinely orchestrated as a catalyst to set the wheels in motion for the fruition of your prayers. Pay careful attention to new people we send into your life. You will recognize them by your sense of familiarity, comfort, and safety. Let your past go. The burden of carrying your past around has made you weary. Dear one, it's time to set this burden down. Keep only the lessons and the love and leave everything else behind. You don't want it or need it, and it's now gone. Perfect timing. Now is the perfect moment for you to act on your inspirations. The doors are open while you walk through them with us by your side. Don't delay or procrastinate, as all of the ingredients are ripe for your success. Everything and everyone is on your side, supporting your positive outcome. Okay, remember how I was saying, like, this is kind of like a release with that like pent up like passive aggressiveness and that like frustration. It's a release, so you're still gonna keep feeling it because it's a release. So I think that's what let your past go is. I feel like that passive aggressiveness is not just from what you experienced recently with yourself by not meeting your needs. It's your initial response, your initial emotional response to stress from which you've taken on or learned from your past when you went through when you went through the more traumatic things in your life. This was your emotional response. And so through times of stress, unless it's consciously being addressed, your emotional response it becomes like this passive aggressiveness, because you kind of suppress what you're feeling to try to make things more positive or be less negative, And when I was saying with the whole, instead of thinking like, oh, I have to wait another week and focus on the positive, it's like you guys weren't trying to focus on I feel like it's correlated, like it's genuinely be excited, not tolerating it. So I feel like that's where the passive aggressiveness comes from too, is like you guys just tolerated a lot of things, You fell into the pattern of just, this happened, okay, like giving in, almost like a surrendering to what's going on. Even though you're not happy about it, sometimes you're just kind of rolling with the punches, your version of it. And it led you to repress your emotions because you never released your emotions. You just tried to change them. You're like, oh, I shouldn't be upset. So it's okay, like that. So instead of you being upset and letting it out, it kind of turned into this passive aggressive / bubbling inside, right? This little irritation. I also just saw 222. So again, I feel like you guys really are on the path. You're going through everything the way that you're supposed to. You're going to be experiencing new opportunities that are going to lead you to where it is that you're trying to get to. With even this new partner and perfect timing, I feel like, again, that has to do with your career, because like you're going to have more of a flow state, even though this month is going to be more so just about you and your healing and your coming back to terms. Oh, speaking of healing, right? You're coming back to terms with yourself. But then we have healing. Phenomenal healing energy flows through every cell in my body. And then silence. You see what I was saying? It's like you're going to spend most of January to yourself, I feel like, because you were trying to put, like, before you wanted a social life. Then it's like you needed a break from the social life, but you're trying to have balance because you're tired of doing things on your own, because maybe in the past you were always alone. And now that you just started having a social life, you're like, well, I have to keep up a social life. I don't want to do the alone thing again. That's defeating progress. But it's like, it's not defeating progress. It's part of your process. But silence says, I am serene no matter what is occurring around me. And then we also have White Buffalo Calf Woman, which came out for literally every group so far. The prophetess of the sacred way, my heart is a compass. The path of love is true abundance. So she, for me, is peace. Right? It's peace. So she's just reminding you to I think tune in a little bit more. Then we have austerity, evolve, and intuition. I feel like, again, this is just talking about in general, going back within yourself, readdressing the things that you need addressed within you. The stuff that we already talked about, I just feel like it's reconfirming all of that. Like, you are the focus, honoring your needs in the moment, not a prediction of what they may be 3 weeks from now. And I feel like with austerity and evolve, they're talking about your career again, your creative projects. And as you continue nurturing yourself, like I'm seeing, like, again, you're getting the thing that you're waiting for. It's coming. Okay, you guys, it's coming. But it's just a little bit more patience, and everything else is working out in the process too. Like, things are just getting better and better each month. So just focus on that. Express the frustration that you feel about waiting. Like, don't be like, oh, okay, I'm waiting again. Like, no, let it out. Be like, oh, I have to wait again. Like, feel really, really angry. Like, add to the anger, add to it until you're tired. right? Which will probably take like 5 minutes altogether. And then be like, okay, now that I've let it out, I have this and this, and I'm excited about this, and I have all this other good stuff. You know what I mean? And then let's get the final message with the dice. We have Virgo 19, the sun. So that's the sun, because the sun is the 19th card. And then you have the sun again. And Virgo, again, it's funny because every group so far has, I believe every group so far has gotten a Virgo influence, which is interesting because Virgo is healing, you know? And also like the sun energy, which is also, the sun is considered healing as well, you know? When you think what Apollo was not just the god of arts and music and like the sun, he was also the god of healing and medicine, like not medicine like Hermes, I guess, but healing, you know? And psychic sight, I suppose, like because of the Oracle of Delphi and all of that. But with the 2 here, honestly, what I'm getting, or it's an 11, sorry, but I keep thinking of the High Priestess here. So I feel like as you guys continue to tune into yourself, you're going to continue to meet your needs. You're going to continue to make it about you. And honestly, you guys are just going to keep shining. Like you guys are really going through the things that you have to go through. So kudos to you, because you know what? You guys do it. You do the work, you know, even if you have a moment of laziness or you feel sad or down or off track, like you hold yourself accountable. You put yourself back on that horse, you know? So good job, group 3. But yeah, group 3, that was your reading. I know that's kind of a bit of an abrupt end, but yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I would love to hear from you in the comments down below to get your thoughts, to see if it resonated. Is there something in your life that you find you are feeling a little bit of, like, have you fallen into this like routine where you're scheduling things that should be a little bit more done so in the moment? Are you doing that, guys? So let me know. I would also appreciate if you gave this video a thumbs up, and if you subscribe to my channels. I've got lots of stuff planned for this channel, and I would really appreciate, well, your being here for it. So thank you for those of you who are returning viewers. I'm really grateful to you guys. Thank you so much. And I'm wishing you guys lots of love. Here's a heart, and here's a Korean drama heart, because I've been watching a lot of Korean dramas recently. But yes, oh, for those of you who are interested, one that I really, really like, which is kind of long, I'm not gonna lie, but I like that there's few episodes, but the episodes are long. It's 100 Days My Prince. Also, a business proposal. I have rewatched that like 3 times now. And I really liked Hollow Love as well. My Hollow Love. Hollow, like HOLO. That was a good one too. That one was cute. But yeah, so that's just for those of you who are like, which ones are you watching? You know, so those are the ones. But yes, so that was your reading, guys. Lots of love to you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and bye, group 3. Bye, guys. Oh wait, actually, sorry, before you go, wait. If you guys are interested in a custom crystal bracelet or in a personal private reading, the double P reading, the PP reading. Are you guys interested in a PP reading? A personal private reading. The P squared reading, the PP reading. No, I'm going to stop doing that. It's not a PP reading. Oh man. You can reach out to me either through the contacts page on my website or through my email in the description box below. Okay, now goodbye, guys. Bye. Hey, group 4, welcome to your reading. This is your group if you chose the Lotus. Before I read the back of the card to you guys, I just wanted to say off the bat, something that I picked up as I started shuffling the cards for you, which I just finished doing, was I feel like part of your healing focus and one of your greatest lessons, at least in this phase in your life, is going to be vulnerability and feeling safe to open up. I do feel there's going to be well, I won't say it until let's get into the cards for that, but I also started getting a lot of pains right before starting your reading. like pains in my right side and in my left back, like, and left side of my back, and I just, in the lower part, I feel like a lot of it has to do with, it's like sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra, and like security wounds that you guys have with your parents. I feel like both of your parents probably were not really there for you. And off the bat, just before we even get into it, for those of you who are interested, I do, in the description box of every video, I list healing recommendation meditation that is for abandonment wounds, but it helps with more than just abandonment stuff. And it's really powerful, at least from my personal experience and with my personal clients, like from my private practice. Oftentimes that is one of the videos that I recommend to them as one of their assignments to help them continue moving through their emotional like healing phases so that they can have what it is that they want in their life. And like remove those obstacles to that thing. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So yes, let's get into your reading. So let's start with reading the back. In the bog. Lotus. Oh, and I also feel like you guys are extremely intuitive. You're very psychically gifted, and you could have a little bit of a fear sometimes when it comes to your gifts. That's okay, because you are still coming into a sense of security within yourself in general. But once you start feeling secure in yourself, you're going to start seeing your gifts for what they truly are, which is incredible and powerful gifts, magical gifts and abilities, and they're nothing to be afraid of. Also, oh yeah, because I kept feeling like bodily sensations, I think you guys could also be, your bodies in general could be sensitive to foods, sensitive to environments. Like I feel like you guys are very, you have all of the intuitive forms. You know, I think you guys are very clairvoyant, so that's the psychic sight, and clairaudient, which is the psychic hearing. But I also think that you guys have a strong, or if it's not strong before, which I think it was, but it's developing even more so, clairsentience, which is your intuition through like your body, right? Your body is like a tuning fork almost. It picks up on energy, it reacts to energy in foods, to types of foods, to chemicals, all this stuff. And one of the like psychic abilities that you can develop if you're mainly clairsentient is like you can hold an object and sort of feel the history of it and see like, oh, there's a lot of grief associated with this object, and so on and so forth. But yes, let's get into your reading this. Lotus is a sacred symbol for many cultures. It offers unparalleled lessons about determination and emergence. There is no disputing that this flower is magnificent. Often adored for what we can see above the surface, we must not forget the elements that live below the lotus. Compared to the beauty of this flora, it is no wonder the bog is overlooked. Upon first impression, it is mucky and smelly, but this environment of sphagnum is vitally important to the lotus. It represents deep contemplation, which in turn gives rise to silent intention and conscious action. When you are stuck ruminating on the end result, step back and consider your beginning. Yeah, it's almost like see how far you've come, right? And it's okay if there is stagnation. Stagnation is part of the process. Stagnation helps you to see what the next steps should be and how far it is that you've come. It helps you mark your progress. But let's get right into your reading, you guys. So this reading is going to be broken up into 5 sections, 2 parts, right? So the first part is going to be section 1 and 2, which is going to be what are you currently experiencing? And this will be a great energy check so you can see if this is a reading for you or not. And then what you have the opportunity to leave behind in December. And then in the second half of the reading, we're going to be looking at what are your material world focuses in January and what Divine would like you to focus on healing in January, as well as final messages / advice. Okay, we have the Lovers, the 7 of Swords, the Devil, the 10 of Pentacles, the 7 of Wands. Interesting, because we have the 7 of Wands again, the 5 of Pentacles, the King of Wands, and the 9 of Wands. Okay, you guys, I feel like you guys are the ones with the relationship stuff. So, and it's talking about all types of relationships, okay? Okay. So I feel like you guys are currently possibly experiencing something in regard, so this is in regards to self-love, but I feel like this is in regards to all romantic relationships that you've had in the past. I feel like you guys have very strong boundaries, and whether you realize it or not, it's very difficult for you to let people in. I say whether you realize it or not, because you could think that you have gotten better, and you have, right? That was the whole thing with the Lotus. You have gotten better at like being more vulnerable and all of this stuff, but I just feel like you still have betrayals from the past holding you back from fully being able to dive into a relationship or dive into something. I feel like you're carrying the hurt so strongly, and there's a lot of insecurity in regards to where something could be leading, and it almost seems like in order to protect yourself, you try to doubt that this person or the situation is authentic, that it's real. I feel like even when it comes to your personal life, sometimes you feel like a spectator in it. Like it's easier for you to observe other people's relationships than for you to truly, truly, truly handle settling in one. Because I feel there is a fear of abandonment, which is why I was recommending that meditation. I also think that's why it's hard for people to know all of you, because I think all of you is a little hidden even from yourself. I feel like you guys are kind of going through this, you're still going through this discovery phase where you now are really going into the things that you've always had a bit of an interest in, or that were odd or weird before, and now you're just kind of going in, you're doing these things, you know, you're doing it, and you're not letting other people's opinions influence you about it. But I still feel like you're waiting for approval, or you're waiting for validation, external validation in regards to those things, because I feel like that wound is still not healed in regards to your parents. I do feel very much like it is parental figures. So I say parental figures because, and I'll say father, mother, in general, right? I'm just putting out that disclaimer now because I understand some of you guys could have been adopted. Some of you guys could have been raised by aunts or uncles or grandparents. So we'll just take just take it as it applies, okay? So I feel as though the thing that you guys have the opportunity to leave behind in the month of December, ironically enough, is this self-defense that you are holding, you know, is this self-protection. And it is important to have like energetic boundaries and to protect yourself, but I feel like the type of protection you guys were putting into place was not a healthy kind. It was I don't want to be hurt, please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me. Like it feels like a crying child that is scared of commitment, that is scared of being in a situation that is going to lead to an end result that you've experienced already multiple times in the past. Okay, I feel like you guys had a big betrayal with your parents. You did not have safety, you did not have security, you did not have stability. You could have moved around a lot, or you could have moved and been taken away from everybody that you care about because of a parent's job, or they wanted to go and have a fresh start, you know, but they didn't consider your feelings. For their fresh start, they made you pick up everything and sacrifice everything, even though you didn't want to, you know. I also feel as though there was a very big pressure that you guys never got to live up to. I feel very strongly like a father energy, a fatherly energy. It could be a father, it could be a stepfather, but this person, or an uncle, you know, This person has a little bit of an, I don't know, it doesn't feel nurturing. Their energy doesn't feel nurturing. It left you feeling outcasted. You know, I think it almost feels like somebody from a small mind that has a powerful energy and can have loud or aggressive tendencies, and they try to keep putting you down or belittling you anytime you try to think bigger. So I feel like you guys are going to be able to start really letting go of those like father, or work on forgiving those father wounds from the past. And, you know, you can start leaving that behind in December. Also, this feeling that you're always going to end up alone. This is something that you guys have the opportunity to start leaving behind. Honestly, this is definitely going to bleed into January for you guys, but I feel like it's something you can start working on leaving behind, because I feel as though you guys have this fundamental belief that you genuinely are going to be alone. Like, it's hard to picture yourself ending up spending your whole life with someone. And I think that's the thing that you guys are going to be healing, okay? Because it's kept you from attracting the wrong kinds of people. I mean, it has kept you from attracting the right kinds of people. And being in situations where you felt alone, even when you're in a relationship, again, because you were just repeating a little bit of a cycle, an emotional abuse cycle. Now let's see what else we have coming through here into the next phase in January for you guys. Oh, here it is. Okay. So we have the Four of Wands, the Hermit, the Queen of Cups, Strength, Page of Wands, Scorpio, and the fifth house. Let's move this to the side. Then we have the Five of Swords, the Knight of Swords, Strength, again, interesting, Death, the Seven of Pentacles, Have Confidence, and I'll read the messages on the bottom afterwards, Opportunity to Forgive, Relationship, you guys got a lot of these. What do you desire? It'll have to be off camera, sorry guys. And See Only Love. And then we'll get into these after. Okay, so what do you guys have the opportunity to, what are you guys going to be focusing materially on in January? So I feel like you guys are going to start, again, like I'm seeing that deep diving, that healing, right? I feel like you guys are going to really try to start, now that you're conscious, now that you're aware of it, opening yourselves up and being more vulnerable, like really being more, again, you guys have progressed in this, so kind of similar to one of the previous groups that I feel like has already been on a journey of self-work, you know, like self-development and healing. I feel like you guys were kind of already on that journey too, but there were just a couple of things that maybe you didn't realize or you didn't look at. You know, you were looking at a couple of other things, lighter things that needed healing. But say, for example, if trauma was a tree, I use this example all the time, but if trauma were a tree, right, there is the root of that tree, the root that started it all. This is the thing that happened usually at the youngest age, all of this, and then that tree started growing and it already created a psyche. It developed into your psyche and into your fundamental beliefs and all of this stuff, and so it started attracting similar situations and it started growing branches. This tree started growing all these different branches that are also creating more hurt, more trauma, more this, more that, and perpetuating the belief that this is true, the fundamental belief that you established when you experienced that first root cause trauma, right? So when people start healing, they start healing by cutting off the branches. Because if you just go straight for the root, sometimes you have so many branches you can't see the root. And sometimes going for the root is too hard because there are just too many branches. So it's easier to start by making the tree a little lighter and cutting some of the branches until you can see where the true root cause of this trauma tree is, right? So I feel like you guys were working on branches, but you're getting to the point where you're going to be working on you're going to be cutting it into a stump and then touching the roots, because I don't think you're not going to heal the roots right away. I feel like you guys are just going to trim the trunk of the tree and then you're going to remove the roots. So I feel like you guys are going to be doing that in January. I'm seeing you feeling more, it feels like more emotional fulfillment, less loneliness and more emotional fulfillment, which is good. That's good news. I'm seeing you guys working on this possibly, like, again, like I'm seeing some of you guys could be in communication with someone already, or yeah, I feel like if you're not talking to someone, it's gonna happen really soon. But this communication, it could be in a romantic sense, it could be in a friendship that could possibly have the potential of being romantic, but you guys are opening yourselves up to this person, and it's like you feel a trigger come up, or you feel a place where you're like, maybe I shouldn't share that, I don't want to scare them away, blah blah blah. But then you kind of take a moment to yourself and you're like, actually no, let me be as authentic as possible, right? Let me be vulnerable, let me share myself, open up myself. So I see you guys starting to really do that, right? Even with Scorpio, it's like a big transformation. With the fifth house, this is all about self and romance, right? This is also it's self because it's Leo, which is the sun, which is self-focused, but then it's also romance. The fifth house is about romance, you know? So it's like really like allowing something romantic to flourish, to bloom, to blossom. Because before, sorry guys, it's like there was the thought that you either didn't deserve it because of that core fundamental belief that was established in childhood, and it kept you from ever really allowing yourself to have the right kind of romance or situation, you know? So again, like I said, you guys have been cutting branches, you're getting close to this healing, right? I just saw number 303 for you guys too. But yeah, so that's what I'm seeing in your material world focus. It's like more of you. It doesn't even feel like a challenge, you know? Because again, like I said, I feel like you guys have grown. So it doesn't feel like a challenge. It just feels like you have to remind yourself. So you're going to experience something. You're going to be like a little closed off to this person about something. Or maybe something they do, which is actually completely normal, but because of your past triggers you, or triggers a little bit of a fear in you. And so you're going to take a moment, you're going to reflect on it, and then you're going to come back to them and share and be like, hey, I'm just going to be completely honest with you because my goal in life is to be as authentic as possible. And I care about this relationship dynamic that we've got going, and I want to be honest with you. If sometimes you are this way or you do this thing, I may not always react the best, but that's just because this is a trigger for me because of something I experienced in my past. I'm working on it. I know that you had no negative intentions. I'm not even telling you to stop doing it. I'm just giving you a heads up like, hey, you may get a certain result from me sometimes, and it's not because it's something that you did that's wrong. It's just something that I'm working through. Okay, you know, it's like that kind of open and clear communication. Like you guys are going to be having that. Now, what does Divine want you guys to focus on healing in January, sorry. 1 second, guys, I need water. Okay, guys, so for you, I feel as though I just need a moment to analyze. Forgiveness. I feel like it's about you guys forgiving the past, forgiving this father slash stepfather slash possibly uncle or grandfather figure, like really forgiving them, to be able to start moving on and rewriting that fundamental core belief, right? The negative one that you established because of this masculine figure in your life. So yeah, I feel like there needs to be a little bit of forgiveness there, because you may even think that consciously you've moved on from the situation, but consciously moving on and the inner child emotionally forgiving are two different things, you know? Usually we do something consciously first before we can start applying it to the subconscious. So I just feel like you guys have not really released this. It has stayed with you. It has still stayed as a hurt, you know? So that's what you guys have the opportunity to be healing, and what Divine wants you to focus on healing is cutting the cords from you and this person to release, because I feel like you've learned their emotions, and you've taken on certain wounds that are theirs, that they had raised you or taught you based off of that wound, you know, and so they've passed that wound to you. So it's almost like you cutting that cord and realizing this was never even my drama to begin with. This was never even my true insecurity to begin with. It was all them. So I feel like it's having those realizations, seeing what was yours, what was not, and forgiving them and forgiving yourself, so that you can continue to move past the situation into this new relationship dynamic that you guys will be approaching or are currently in or are going to be seeing relatively soon. It's like you're preparing. For those of you who don't have anyone, you're preparing for this person. For those of you who could have started talking to someone or just recently met someone, it's like you are going through it with this person together, okay? And even though you're preparing, like for those of you who don't know who this is, I feel like you guys are preparing, but you're still going to be going through it when you're with this person, because there is emphasis of you going through this healing when you're with somebody. That could be a potential romantic interest or a friend that has, like I said, that potential. I also feel like they want you to focus on seeing that you deserve, you're worthy of a lot of things, you know. So let me read these, and now I can make them all appear on screen. Here we go. So we have moving forward with have confidence. Moving forward does not necessarily require you to have confidence in yourself. Confidence in God is enough, along with knowing that God works through you and with you in all ways. Lean upon us if your confidence wavers, and we will buoy your courage and faith. I don't know what that is. BUOY. I've never heard of such a word, and I've had these cards for forever. Opportunity to forgive. This situation brings you the opportunity to heal, grow, and release negative patterns. Hold the intention of seeing the other person's inner divine light and goodness. We will help you release unforgiving thoughts, feelings, and energies, and lift you to a higher place of peace and compassion. Relationship. Your primary relationship is with yourself and God, and every other relationship follows from there. To attract, heal, or balance a relationship, then snuggle more closely with your loving creator. Then snuggle more closely with your loving creator. As you feel safe and loved within, so shall your other relationships bloom and prosper. Let me just move the assembly line. See only love. Look past the seeming errors, mistakes, and misunderstandings, and see only the love within each person, including yourself. Your resolute focus upon the love that underlies every situation brings about healing in undreamed of ways. And then what do you desire? You now have the opportunity to write the script according to your heart's true desires. Once you clearly decide upon your true desires and know that you are ready and deserving of them, they'll rush into your life as if by magic. Okay, so 1 second, you guys. This is part of the healing focus. So again, there's like that emphasis on forgiveness, right? And the relationships, it's see only love. So I feel like this has to do again with what I was saying releasing that past and really truly allowing it to be forgiven, because it is impacting your ability to be in relationship, especially your relationship with yourself. Because even with this have confidence, it's like this fundamental belief, and even the beliefs that were not even yours from the beginning, which most of them were not, they were passed on from this parent, right? From this parental figure. I feel like they're saying like this is impacting, again, with the whole relationship thing, not just romantic relationships, but how you view yourself, how you determine your worth. You know, I feel like you guys are too I'm not saying that you always apologize, but the energy is as if you're too apologetic for your existence. You're too considerate of everybody else, as if this is something that you do to compensate for feeling like you are an inconvenience, or in the past feeling like you were an inconvenience, and so now you people please or try to cater to other people's needs. You know, it's like you don't have to determine your self-worth by those kinds of things. That doesn't mean how much you're willing to sacrifice or give to someone is not the measure of how good of a person that you are. You know what I mean? That does not determine your worth, or how much you deserve love, how deserving you are of love. You deserve it just because you exist, period, end of sentence, full stop, you know? So I feel like part of your being overly nice and doing everything for others comes from this, from feeling like you needed to earn love and affection. And I'm not saying it's not coming from a genuine place. I'm sure it is. You're genuinely a sweet person, you know, and caring and kind. But I feel like as part of a fundamental belief, like part of your self-worth is determined subconsciously from that, you know? So yes, and so with what do you desire as well, I feel like they're touching on the message of focus on the things that you want. Like, what do you really want? Have you really looked into the future for what you really want? Or do you just kind of take it day by day? And even with what do you desire, I feel like it's what do you desire in regards to your healing? What do you expect from your parent? Like, as part of your healing, right? What do you desire from your parents? What did you desire from your parents? What is it that you wanted from your parents and from this parental figure that you did not get? I think you need to analyze what is it that you really craved from them. And that is the thing that you need to be giving to yourself. Okay? Now let's get into your final messages. We have, playfulness. My joy is the greatest gift that I give to others. Joy, oh wow, joy and ecstasy flow through me wildly and freely. That's funny. And look, another heart with like white flying, right? And then this heart flying, this heart has wings. And then we have, oh gosh, let's see how I can pronounce this. Inhiduana, the high priestess. I am one with my soul, and my soul is a legacy of love. Wow. And then Yeshid Sogyal, Lady of the Lotus. Lady of the Lotus born. You guys chose the Lotus. Oh my gosh. You know what's crazy too? When I was shuffling, the first card that I opened to when I split the deck was this one, but I kept shuffling and this card came out again. So I was like, I'm taking it. But oh Lord, this is so exciting. I didn't even notice that. Okay. Embodiment is the deepest bliss. My body was made for enlightenment. Wow. And then we have protect, support, lead, and distract. Interesting, the color scheme is very similar. So it's more reds and oranges and yellow right here. So I know there's purple, but it's mainly the reds and the oranges, right? And the yellow hints here and there. So I feel like, remember I was telling you about the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus. I feel like there's emphasis on that again. That's where the healing is needed. And it's like continue to take this initiative. You continue to give this support and security that you needed to yourself. You know, with playfulness and joy, I feel like you guys, because of your experience in your childhood, you grew up too quick. You matured too quick, you know? So it's like play, have fun, be silly, do crazy things, go out of your, continue going out of your comfort zone, because you guys have already started doing that, you know? But do silly things like scream at the top of your lungs with your head out of a window when you're driving. Well, not driving, but like in the passenger seat. Be safe when you're driving, you know? Go camping, go roast marshmallows with good friends, laugh like a maniac for like 10 minutes straight. You know, do silly things, play games, go play apples to apples or something. Play Uno, have fun, be a kid again. You're going to be regressing. That's part of your healing. And so allow yourself to have the fun that you were denied because you had to be so serious so soon, you know? And so allow yourself, like I said, you know, you're being your parent, you know, you're reparenting yourself now because you're healing this trauma with your parents. So be your own parent, give yourself permission to play, right? And if you need someone else to do it, then go for it. You have permission. Go play, have fun. Don't overthink a situation. Don't think of it in terms of like the practical aspects and stuff like that. Just go for it. Just enjoy the moment, you know? Live and enjoy in the moment. And then with these two as well, I feel like they're talking about embodiment. You know, I am one with my soul. This is embodying the soul. And then embodiment in the deepest bliss. My body was made for enlightenment. Again, it's just like bringing it back to your body. I feel like even with the lotus, this is like higher realms, right? Higher chakras, higher dimensions. You guys naturally were more, and remember I mentioned the intuition, all this stuff, and you have a little bit of the purple with the crown chakra. I feel like you guys naturally are more higher realm, higher chakra focused, you know, more mentally focused. Whereas now they're asking you like, okay, now is the time, because even with, the root, the solar plexus, the sacral chakra, those are the physical chakras, right? Now it's time to be working on those, healing those, but at the same time, it's time to be embodying your body. So as you continue to go to those traumas, like healing those aspects of yourself, you're going to be feeling more embodied, more confident, more sexy, you know, like feel really sexy. See your body as sultry. It doesn't matter what gender you are, you know, as sensual. That's part of the healing too. It's seeing the beauty within you and feeling good being in your body. Okay, now let's get the final message with the dice. We have 17, which is the star. Venus, which is what we were just talking about, right? With that sultry sensuality. 5, which is Leo energy, the 5th house, and that romance that we were talking about. You also have the 5th house here. And then we have Aries. Aries is about self. It is about the self. Even Leo can be sometimes considered about the self too, right? Because we talked about the romance, but it's like romance and self. And then Venus, it's like also that self-love, that self-care. So it's just, now is the age of you, right? Coming out of your shell, really living life, being a part of this world because you're now being embodied, okay? And then with 17, it's the star. It's like coming out, a shooting star, right? This beautiful hope, this beauty that you guys are. It's just coming through. It's just shining through. You guys are shining through. And it's also your healing coming through, okay? I also feel like you guys could be interested in light language, and you're most likely going to be star seeds and into aliens and extraterrestrial things and galactic things as well. And you guys have a really strong star seed, like star family around you, supporting you, and light being guides around you, supporting you. And I feel like you guys actually have some soul family from other planets or other lives, you know, amongst the stars. Other incarnations amongst the stars that are actually incarnated in this lifetime too. So you're really genuinely meant to have a good group of people around you, lots of good friends, and you're going to start coming into those people. I feel like a couple of you have already started meeting a couple of these people, and it's just going to be taking up more and more of your life in the most beautiful way. okay? Or like fitting into more of your life, not taking it up. But yeah, that was your reading, group 4. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was a pleasure doing this reading for you. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below if it resonated. And did you guys try the healing video that I have in the recommendations, right, in the description box? If you did try it, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Like what your experience was with it. I sent so many people to that video. It's just funny. I really do. I sent so many people to her video. So I would love to hear from you guys. Also, if you guys are interested in either a custom crystal bracelet or a private reading, you can reach out to me through the contacts page on my website or through the email in my description box below. I would also appreciate if you guys gave this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed, because I've got lots of plans for you guys here. And I really appreciate all of your support. Thank you guys for being here. I'm sending you so much love and light. I love you guys. Bye, group 4.